And it says bottom 5 cards to open early in pool 3 by Drewberry. So let's see if I agree with the 5 cards that this dude says are the worst cards. And if I believe those are the 5 worst cards too, you know. Let's see what happens.
You just hit level 484 on the collection road, and you're about to open your first pool 3 chest. But bam, you open it and it's boosters, the worst reward in the game. But that's okay, that's okay.
Well, that's no longer the case, thank God. You know what is the worst reward in the game right now? Titles, bro. Fucking titles. Titles suck. They are useless. Nobody cares about a title.
Just a few more games and then you all of a sudden you're at your second chest and you're about to open this one. You have a 50% chance of getting a new card, so you're feeling pretty good. And then boom, you get this. Wait, no, not.
Bro, that is a cool joke because I got the whining on the internet title, dude. Oh, brother, what is this, dude? Bro, but yes, you can get a stupid card, bro. My first pool 3 card was Rescue before the buff, so it was stupid. And my second card was Goose. And yes, I know Goose can be kinda useful, but just starting out in pool 3, it is fucking useless. You want something else. So yes, my first pool 3 cards were stupid as fuck. And what if you get a fucking Wasp, dude? What if you get a fucking Wasp? That sucks. A Crossbones, dude. A Quake. A Crystal. Bro, I didn't even know what Crystal did because that card is so stupid that nobody uses her that I didn't even know what she did, you know? Yes, I played Hearthstone, bro. I played Hearthstone when it was launched. Like, I played the base set. I played Naxxramas. I played the Blackrock Mountain. I played until, like, Goblins versus Gnomes or something like that. I don't know. And Dr. Boom was awesome, of course. But yes, I played Hearthstone.
Not that. It looks more like this. And you're probably pretty disappointed. But believe
I talk about the Wasp and he pulled the card there. Of course, of course.
Believe it or not, this doesn't even make the cut in my bottom 5 worst cards to open early in pool 3.
Bro, one of these has to be Crossbones, bro. Or Crystal or Quake. Those are bullshit, dude.
This is Top 5 Fridays. Let's get into this Friday's Top 5. Number 5, Dr. Octopus. So in my last video, the top 5 best cards to pull early, so many people were commenting what they got first in their pool 3 collector's reserves. And it was really, really cool to see all the variants and what people got, their experiences with it. So definitely.
Oh, so I may be thinking about this wrong. Because I'm not thinking about... I'm thinking about the worst 5 cards, but he's not thinking about that. He's thinking about the 5 worst cards that you can get early in pool 3, so you can combo those cards and build some decks. Maybe that is what he's thinking. And in that case, yes, Dr. Octopus isn't that good because Dr. Octopus is specific to some scenarios, and maybe starting out in Series 3, you don't have those pieces to make it work. Maybe. But he isn't one of the 5 worst cards in the Series 3 for sure, bro. He isn't.
Definitely comment below what the most disappointing pull for you has been so far. I'm curious to know that.
Crossbones?
But
Fucking Crossbones, dude. I was waiting for my Green Goblin and I unlocked the fucking Crossbones, dude. That is my most disappointing pull.
Octopus actually came up a lot in the comments, and some people were, well, majority were pretty disappointed, and I had a few that were pretty excited about it. So I had to put him at number 5 because he's definitely not the worst. Definitely not the worst. Wait till you see it, of course. But he's a bit RNG heavy, and also in my experience of playing Marvel Snap, like the thousands of games that I have played so far since beta, I've seen Doc Ock come out like, I don't know, a handful of times, and I feel like maybe only once or twice it has benefited my opponent. And I've never really been successful with him myself. So maybe there's some experts out there that are going to tell me that this card is really good, wins them a lot of games, and fair play to you.
Yes, it is good. The thing is with Dr. Octopus, you have to play him in decks or on locations where your opponent already has cards. So if you're playing the Ree, if you're playing the Goblins, if you're playing stuff like that, Dr. Octopus is great, brother. So he's cool in control decks too. So yes, he has a place. And you have to be smart about the way you play Dr. Octopus. That is the thing. And bro, Typhoid Mary and Falcon aren't good, but they aren't bad either. You can play the Falcon in the bounce deck. That is a great deck. I love it. It's so fun. And you can play Typhoid Mary in the zero deck. That is one of the strongest decks for me. One of my favorite decks is really, really strong. But yes, outside of those specific decks, they suck. That is true. They completely suck outside of those decks.
You if it's working out for you, but from what I've seen, it usually fails and ends up in a retreat. So what does he do? He's a 5 cost 10 power. On reveal, pull 4 random cards from your opponent's hand to their side of this location. So you could just for free give them like Infinite or their late game curves, because think about it this way. Really if they're playing a swarm deck, let's say with the Kazar Blue Marvel combos to buff things up, they're probably playing all those 1-drops in turns 1 to 4, and in turn 5 and 6 they're probably holding on to Kazar, Blue Marvel, anything that's giving widespread buffs. You can't really counter that all that well. There's a few ways that I got here that maybe we can find a tricky counter, but ultimately you're playing the card for free and then you have to deal.
Exactly. I don't agree at all, bro. Doc Ock is cool, right? So that's why I said maybe he isn't counting it like the 5 worst cards, but just like the 5 worst that you can combo off early in pool 3, you know? Maybe that is what he's doing here. But I believe that Doc Ock isn't in the 5 worst cards in the game, not by a... Ooh, brother, I lost to... You just talk about the Bar Sinister Dr. Doom and I'm losing against that bullshit, brother. And these ones aren't copies of Mysterio. Bro, why this guy didn't copy? This is a real Mysterio. This game is stupid, brother. This game is fucking stupid. Why this Mysterio doesn't... I will have lost either way, but they should turn into the real Mysterio because I played here the real Mysterio, brother. This game fucking sucks, dude. Exactly, the Dr. Octopus, I don't believe it is one of the worst cards in the game, nor by a long shot, and he has a place in some decks, and I do like him. But maybe if he is your first pull 3 card, he kinda sucks. You want something else. I do agree with that. But I don't know if 5 worse, because I do prefer a Dr. Octopus than a Crystal, than a Quake, than a Crossbones, and maybe I could think about something else than a Wasp. There's definitely worse stuff you can get, brother. There is definitely worse stuff you can get.
Deal with it at the same location, because they can just keep playing stuff at other locations. Mind you, you might have pulled quite a few of their cards, but it's just clunky, and more often than not is going to give your opponent an advantage. The 10 power is nice, but that's kind of the only benefit.
But it is also disruptive, because sometimes if you're playing against a dude that has to play specific cards in specific locations, like a Wong deck, you can disrupt their combo by making them play their cards in another lane. That's also true with Dr. Octopus. So it is definitely a card that you have to be smart to play, you know?
Here. Now we do have counters, so we could play Cosmo sometime earlier before Doc, and then we play Doc at that location and you don't get his ability, right? He's just 10 power for 5, and that's pretty decent. You also have Shang-Chi and Enchantress. These are great counters to whatever comes out from the Doc Ock ability. So you play Doc Ock, let's say an Infinite drops and a Hulk or whatever else, and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna lose. Your opponent snaps because they're like, haha, that was dumb. Well, guess what? On turn 6, you Shang-Chi all those cards and you win that location. The problem I have with that is you're committing your turn 5 and 6 to one location. So how do you win the other ones? You have to do that early enough. Maybe your opponent keeps playing cards elsewhere and wins them that way. So it just gets a bit awkward, and you might not have, despite that big swing, enough to pull out the win. And that's...
Of course he will work in that deck, yes. Of course Typhoid Mary is better. He will occupy the place of Typhoid Mary. But if you don't have a Typhoid Mary, he's better. But you said you have her, so she's better because she's a 4/10 and he is a 5/10. So it's like the same thing, but for 1 more energy, you know?
That's basically what Dr. Control aims to do. We got a lot of early stuff just to give us power and try to win out a location. And then we're going to Doc Ock on 5 and then counter with whatever comes out with our Killmonger, Shang-Chi, Enchantress, all that.
The thing is, you have to play Doc Ock in a lane where you aren't going to bring down a bunch of bullshit. You aren't going to play, you won't play him in an empty lane, bro. You are going to play him in a lane where the opponent already has 3 cards or something like that.
That's tough. Basically react to the pull in their turn 6. Number 4, Adam Warlock. Oh,
bro, everybody puts Adam Warlock on their 5 worst cards, and I don't agree with that, bro. I don't know if I am the only person in the world that likes Adam Warlock. Of course, he sucks. I know he sucks. I'm not saying he doesn't suck, but one of the worst 5 cards, bro. But again, maybe it is one of the worst 5 you can get early in pool 3, and that is true. That is completely true, because what the fuck are you going to do with an Adam Warlock as your first pool 3 card? Nothing. He sucks in that case. But if you take into consideration all of the cards in the game, Adam Warlock can find a place. And I do play Adam Warlock in a deck, in the Electro deck, brother. The Electro Control deck. But yes, I do agree that pulling him early kind of sucks. But yes, of course. But we are talking here about pool 3 cards, and what do I believe is pool 1 or something like that. Oh well, I fucked over myself. Why did I? Oh, brother. Well, I didn't do it. It was Agatha. Agatha sucks, brother.
Adam Warlock. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. He is a 2-cost 0 power card, but he has a very unique mechanic in Marvel Snap right now. He draws a card. At the end of each turn, if you are winning this location, draw a card. So it's a conditional draw. And it is hard to pull off, and your opponent.
Of course it is conditional, bro, because drawing cards in Marvel Snap is too powerful, bro. You only have 12 cards in your deck. If you only trigger Adam Warlock once, that is already an incredible advantage. That's why he is so hard to pull off, because it is too much of an advantage to draw a card. So if you give him even 1 power, that will be too OP. He will be one of the most powerful cards in the game if you give him 1 power. So that is why it is hard to balance this card, dude.
Opponent, guess what? They can counter it. And also, there's only 6 turns in Marvel Snap, and you might spend an entire one of those, not even the first one, the second, playing this card. And if you play him any time after that, you're just diminishing value, because he only draws at the end of the turn if you're winning the location. Oh, and by the way, he doesn't help you win the location, because he's 0 power, so you have to have support. Guaranteed.
I like Adam Warlock, bro. I do like Adam Warlock. I don't believe he's one of the worst 5 cards in the game, but I do agree. The part I do agree is that he's one of the worst things you can get starting out in pool 3. And that's what I believe he's telling here. Because yes, if you are just starting out in pool 3 and you want your Wong and you want your Destroyer and you want your Mystique and you get a fucking Adam Warlock that you can't use because you don't have support for him, that sucks. That fucking sucks.
You're really doing is thinning out your deck, which might help you out, but really, honestly, you only have 12 cards in your deck.
And I do believe Adam Warlock might be played in a new Thanos deck, bro. Maybe someone plays an Adam Warlock in the Thanos deck so they cycle out their stuns. But it will be hard to pull it off because you have to be winning the location. But maybe they do it so they can draw fast their stuns, you know.
You're already drawing enough throughout the game. Not that big of a deal. Now, I'm not saying draw is weak. I'm just saying when it's thrown together with all these crazy conditions, it becomes a weak card. And I have him here in the list because I actually got this in my first 5 pulls, and I wanted to make it work. It has a great animation. I thought draw would be really powerful from past card games. I always know that draw is a very powerful mechanic, and I wanted this to be great, but I just lost so many games trying to force this card. I just don't think it's worth it. It's not very exciting, I don't think, and sadly this isn't the only draw card in this list. It's kind of weird their approach to draw, because I think because it's such small deck sizes they have to be careful. But how do you make old Adam Warlock here work? Well, let's think about the Moon Dino deck, a pretty popular pool 1 deck where you're focused on Devil Dinosaur buffs. and playing Moon Girl to double your hand, and have a lot of other things like Cable and Sentinel to make sure you always have a busy hand. And I guess Adam Warlock helps you out there too, because
they have to be really careful with Adam Warlock, because he might become one of the strongest cards in the game if you tweak it too much, you know? Like, only giving one power could be insane.
You can draw some cards, and you're always going to have a full hand if you can draw those cards. Another one I thought is America Chavez, because if we're really focusing on drawing our cards, we can thin our deck out even further, because America Chavez won't be drawn before turn 6, so you can really definitely guarantee that you're going to get Devil Dino at some point if you get a couple of draws off of Adam Warlock, which is the deck's win con, so it's really important.
Exactly. In the deck I'm telling you that I play Electro, there is a Devil Dino there, and this combo works great, bro. The Adam Warlock with Electro and Devil Dino, that is a great combo, dude. It is really good. Trust me, dude. Trust me.
To thin out the deck, get some draws, and make sure you get that big dino. Number 3, Black Bolt. All right, Black Bolt is notoriously bad. And believe it or not, he was actually worse than this. He used to be a 5/7.
I do agree with this one. Black Bolt fucking sucks. It is one of the worst cards in the fucking game, dude.
He got slightly buffed to a 5/8, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. He's still terrible. He's an on reveal. Your opponent must discard the lowest cost card in their hand. And sadly, that just doesn't do it. You would think a decent body with a positive effect and disrupting your opponent would be a good card. But more often than not, your opponent doesn't really care about their lowest cost card on turn 5. And
more often than not, they never care. They don't give a fuck.
You're probably doing them a solid.
They don't care about their lower
if you get the
card,
dream discard, you discard the only card in their hand is their big turn 6 play. Maybe you'll be okay. You just got 8 power. You disrupted them. Things are looking good. But where Black Bolt really struggles is he doesn't gel with any decks. Like, there's no reason to put in Black Bolt.
That's why I have a video where I talk about 3 archetypes that I want to see in the game, and one archetype is the one that you get a payoff from the from disrupting your opponent's hand, and that would make Black Bolt better. Like, if the opponent has discarded X amount of cards, this card gets X amount of power, something like that. Or if your opponent has an empty hand, you get X amount of power. That would make Black Bolt good, you know? So yes, it could be good if they add more cards in the future, but right now he sucks.
Say Iron Man or another better 5 cost card like Magic or something like that.
Bro, you were incredibly lucky, or they only have like 2 cards in hand or something like that, and they both were big cards, you know.
There's so many better options. My first thought when I saw this card is maybe he synergizes with discard decks, so maybe I can put him in. But really, one of the only beneficiaries from cards being discarded is Morbius, who gets +2 power for each card that you discard, not your opponent. So Black Bolt and Morbius, they're...
Bro, and I get the fucking crossbones in the Daily Bogle. So this dude is playing crossbones. Bro, what are you doing? Why do you have a crossbones, bro? Crossbones sucks very big dick. Why does this dude have a crossbones in his hand, brother?
They're not buddies, unfortunately. The reason it's number 3 is not necessarily because it's the worst card. Yeah, it's down there. It's one of the bottom dwellers.
I hate crossbones.
It's just disappointing. You want to get a cool pool 3 card that you want to play with, and you get Black Bolt. It's just kind of like, it's kind of sad. But hey, if you guys got one of these cards in this list, don't get too down on yourselves. I'm sure there's a good card around the corner. It might feel slower than pool 1 and 2, but you're going to collect these cards so quickly. Honestly, it flies by, and before you know it, you'll have those cards you really want. So I was trying to...
Yes, starting out in pool 3, you don't have to worry a lot because you get a lot of cards really fast when you start out in pool 3, brother. So it is frustrating when you get to the collector's reserves and you don't have the cards you want. There is where it gets frustrating, dude.
Think of a deck for Black Bolt, and Synergy, it's like really stretching it thin. So I was thinking, okay, well, maybe he's trying to, you know, get rid of cards in opponent's hand. So let's do that with other things like Mantis and Cable, taking cards from your opponent's deck, discarding cards from their hand, and now they don't have any cards to play with. That was the idea. And then Jubilee, because if we can play him for 4, now we might be talking. So I got the no cards for you deck. And this is wacky. I don't suggest trying this deck. Maybe if you have Black Bolt, maybe give it a shot.
This deck is similar to what I was talking about with the deck I was talking, the archetype I told you guys in the video I'm talking about, because he has a cable here. So I was talking, he needs a Yondu here. But that they create a new card that gets an advantage, that it is a payoff for destroying the opponent's deck, you know, because if you play a Yondu and you destroy some card from them, you play the cable and you discard a card from them, you play the Black Ball and you discard a card, maybe a Moon Knight, that all of that creates a condition so a new card that they create gets power from that, you know. That will be a cool archetype, brother.
But otherwise, probably not good. It's an amalgamation of a bunch of different things that are going on here with Control and Iron Man and big power things.
Bro, in my tier list, I put Agatha in the S tier like a joke, and I immediately took her down, of course, to the D tier because she sucks. She always make the worst decisions possible. But there was a dude that was seeing the tier list, and he saw that I put Agatha in the S tier, and he immediately commented, "You suck because you put Agatha in the S tier." Bro, it was a joke. I put her down in the D tier later.
I even put in the Hulk because I thought, why not smash my opponent after I make them discard? Number 2, Crystal.
There it is.
Oh, Crystal.
So we finally know what Crystal does. If this is at the middle location, shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 3 cards. We finally know what Crystal does, brother. Because I didn't even knew what this bullshit did, because she doesn't exist. Nobody plays this card.
Oh boy. This is, according to Snap.fan, which records statistics. You guys should go check them out. It's an awesome resource. And this is a consistent bottom dweller. This card is always in the dumpster. And believe it or not,
he's staying it too. Nobody plays this bullshit, bro.
or not, it used to be a very good card because it didn't have the condition of having to be played in the middle. So Crystal is a 4-cost, 4-power. On reveal, if this is at the middle location, shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 3 cards. Funny enough, this is a really powerful effect in a lot of other card games. And when she didn't have the constraint of being played at the middle location, it was pretty consistent. But you probably know by now, by playing in the first 2 pools up to this point in Marvel Snap, that location variance is a real thing. And you just don't know what's going to happen down the middle. Can you even play Crystal? If you can't, she's a 4-cost, 4-power, and that's trash. And maybe even if by the time you can, you don't really want to get rid of your hand because those important cards that you plan on playing, well, they're in there. So now what do you do? It's a bit awkward, especially early on, like in the first 2 pools. Like there's some cards later on in pool 3 that you can get that are really going to help her out, maybe make her a little bit more viable. But in the first 2 pools, like what are you doing with this card? Like there's really no point in running it when you can play anything else that gives you decent power and synergizes with your deck. For instance, the deck that I thought would work with Crystal early on is a flood deck, but she actually occupies the slot of Khazar, so it gets awkward already. But I thought I'd give it a shot anyway. So the idea is you play a lot of your 1-drops, so that by the time you play Crystal, hopefully you don't really have any cards. You only have the 1 that you drew that turn.
So predictions for the first card. Predictions for the first card. The more useless card. I don't like Quake. Quake fucking sucks. I don't like the Wasp, but he already told us that the Wasp wasn't the card. So it isn't the Wasp. I don't like Crossbones, but I don't believe he's going to bring about the Crossbones. But the Quake is a strong contender, bro. The Quake sucks. What other card sucks? Yellow Jacket sucks.
What are the odds?
Quake and Yellow Jacket. Those are my 2 votes. Quake and Yellow Jacket. Because Crossbones, but he isn't going to talk about Crossbones.
In your hand so that you're essentially drawing 2 cards, and like that description is a stretch, so there's not a lot of value here. Like you might have a leftover card, then you draw a card, and then you're going to play Crystal for only really drawing 1 because 2 are going to go back to the deck and you draw 3, and like what if they're not the ones that you wanted? So it just gets real awkward. And then if you have 3 or 4 more cards, then you're actually lowering your hand size, and you don't want to do that. So Crystal is number 2 for a reason. Number 1, Yellow Jacket. Oh, I apologize to the people that commented in the last video that Yellow Jacket was your first card. It's a rough pull.
And this again go to the same thing I told you guys in my video about new archetypes that I wanted to try out. I want them to try out some card that converts negative power to positive power, or that you get some upside for building negative power. So that will make Yellow Jacket good. That will make what is this bullshit? Hazmat good. Of course, now with the introduction of Luke Cage, maybe Yellow Jacket is good, but I don't know if it is worth it. But if you can convert negative power to positive power, then the Yellow Jacket is really good. So yes, that is one archetype that I want them to implement. Bro, I think Yellow Jacket sucks, dude. So I'm bad at the game because I think Yellow Jacket sucks. I believe the Quake is worse. Of course, my vote was Quake, but Yellow Jacket sucks, bro. I don't like Yellow Jacket right now, but I do want them to implement that archetype that I'm saying. And Yellow Jacket might be good with the Lockjaw. I don't know. But the Wasp is better in the Lockjaw deck. But yes, the Wasp sucks. I'm looking good here. I hope I win this game, but he has a 1, so I don't know. But yeah, bro, I don't like Yellow Jacket.
You just gotta get through it. Believe it or not, despite everything I'm about to say about Yellow Jacket, he actually is decent in a couple of other decks that require a lot of pool 3 support. But when you get him early on, oh my goodness, there's just not much going on for this card. There's just no reason to play this over something else. Any other 1-drop, it doesn't really matter. So he's a 0 cost 2 power. Sounds good on paper, right? Well, maybe. We'll get into that in a second. But his on reveal ability is afflict your other cards at this location with -1 power. Ouch. If you have 3 other cards there, that's like playing -1 power. Not good. If you have 2 other cards there, then it's like playing nothing at all. Except here's the kicker with Yellow Jacket. He might be free for 2 power, but he takes up a location spot. And really, like, just playing something for 2 power just to take up a location spot, that's not enough in Marvel Snap. You gotta have bigger impact plays. The worst parts too is he doesn't really synergize with like anything else. He has an on reveal tag, but you don't want to double that up with Odin, so you're not gonna throw him in that kind of deck. And then also, if you were lucky enough to get Patriot early on, Patriot's gonna help out those low cost, no ability cards like Wasp that I showed earlier. But not Yellow Jacket. He has an ability. His bad ability is not only bad, it's hindering his ability to get benefits from not having ability. It's just like, it's so bad. Like, there's so much going wrong for this card. Even if he was 3 power, I don't think he'd make the cut. Like, the dream is that you get him in your opening hand and you play him. But even then, it's like, why did I take up that location spot? I don't know. And even further, if you're in pool 3 and you got destroy synergy cards like Death, you can't even Killmonger this card. You can't properly...
Bro, Jonathan, I know you like Yellow Jacket, but everything he's saying here, I have to agree what he's saying here, bro. It is true, because the best case scenario is playing him on the first turn, and yes, he's good in that turn, but you could play something better. You could play a Cork in that turn, bro, and disrupt your opponent, an Iceman, and disrupt your opponent. You know what I'm saying? Well, maybe yes, maybe I saw with Yellow Jacket, but that is what I think about. I don't like him. I want them to do what I'm saying, that create a card that helps us build negative power, and that turns into something good. So that way Yellow Jacket is good, and Hazmat is better than what she is right now, because I want to place a Hazmat deck, brother. And maybe with Luke Cage we can play a Hazmat deck, a deck.
Really kill it. Unless you Carnage. That's like the best case scenario. And that's not even that great, because Carnage gets +2 power for each card he destroys, and Yellow Jacket has 2 power. So it's like saving a spot that you already could have saved if you just didn't ran this dumb card. So, oh my gosh, it's just brutal. Like, there's just, it doesn't really work out any which way. Like, go ahead and tell me in the comments how you've been making Yellow Jacket work. The best way that I have personally been able to make him work is in a Lockjaw deck. So if you have Lockjaw and then you pull this, you can make things work, because he's gonna swap in.
Yo, Sage should die. Thank you very much for those words, bro. You are awesome. Thank you very much for the support, dude. Yes, I believe I will get my sub button really soon, bro, because I I already made the threshold, you know, so maybe I will get my sub button really soon. I'm already thinking about ideas of what my budgets are going to be. Maybe a Green Goblin Grenade or a Green Goblin Face or something like that. Thank you very much for those words, bro. You are awesome.
Into something actually good from your deck. That's the idea, and he's free. So that has merit. But otherwise, you're in a tough spot if this is your first pull, and my condolences. But that's not the...
Bro, I do kind of agree with the Yellow Jacket thing and the Crystal thing and the Blackboard thing. The Adam Warlock and the Doc Ock, those I don't agree with those. But I do agree with these three, bro. The Blackboard, the Crystal, and the Yellow Jacket. Maybe Yellow Jacket isn't the worst, but it is one of the worst, bro. I believe Quake is fucking worse than Yellow Jacket, bro. Quake is stupid. Quake sucks. And the Crystal is worse too. Crystal fucking sucks.
The point here, we gotta find some sin.
The two things, you need to have 50 followers in the last 30 days. So that is the thing. It is a restriction that you need them in the last 30 days. And bro, you are trolling me, bro. You are trolling me, right, Jonathan? Because you are telling me he's very good, but you aren't telling me how do I say it? An example of when he's good. I believe you are trolling me, dude. So, you need 50 followers in the last 30 days, and you need 3 viewer average in the last 30 days too. So I believe that with today's stream, I will accomplish that threshold, and I will have the sub button. But yes, bro, thank you for the support. You are awesome, dude. Can I win this? 13 points. This will get 5 points. So I can move this out and play something there, right? Maybe I will lose like this. But this is my only play. If he plays something here, I just fucking lose. He played on the other side, so I win. Nice. I won with an Agatha deck, dude. Cool.
Synergistic cards. So we have things like Hawkeye, because you play Hawkeye and then you play Yellow Jacket, and you're gonna...
Exactly, that is the thing, that if he's one of your first cards, that's when it sucks. Oh, with a Cerebro too. All right, I can see this. This could work, of course. Of course, he could work in a Cerebro 2 deck. I love a Cerebro 2. I love Cerebro 2 decks, bro. And yes, in this deck, he could be cool. But if you don't play him early, later you won't play him because you will afflict your cards with negative power. So you have to be careful with how you play him, right? Because if you already have developed a board and you play the Yellow Jacket, you take away power and you disrupt your own combo. So you have to be very careful with how you play your Yellow Jacket in that scenario.
They get basically
Galactus.
+1
Galactus
power.
is my
Maybe,
favorite,
I don't know.
My favorite
not very
new
good.
card is Galactus,
Colossus.
for sure.
He's not going to get affected by this power, so that's kind of okay. You just hang.
Oh, all right, all right. So you take down 3 cost cards to 2, so you can, all right. It is a combo piece for the Cerebro deck. I like that. That is a cool concept. In fact, I want to try that, bro. I just unlocked the Yellow Jacket today. So I will try to build a deck with Yellow Jacket and make a video about it. Thank you for the idea, bro. Thank you for the idea, Jonathan. That is cool. I will try to combo that off.
Hang out with Colossus, and that's 5 power, 2 cards at a location. Yeah, also not great. Okay, what about Cosmo? He can stop the on-reveal ability,
no,
right?
the Titania Babalunga is not
there's
my favorite one, bro. It's a Galactus. But the Babalungas are good too.
Locations and 5 power. That's kind of the same. Not very good. Cosmo costs more. Okay, tough to find synergy. What about the Bees deck? Not the Bees. No Bees. No Nick Cage. The Bees. You know, Bishop, hey, that could be something. You know, you play a bunch of cards, you buff.
So the deck he should have showcased here, instead of this one, was a Cerebro deck. The thing is, and that is why it is important to read the title of the video. He says to open early Impulse 3. It's because, yes, in the Cerebro deck, he's good, but you need the Cerebro. So if you open him as your first pull 3 card, he sucks. So that is why he's trying to build a deck here with only pull 1 and pull 2 cards. And in that case, he sucks, brother. He sucks. You understand what I'm saying? Oh yeah, the fucking Wasp sucks too, bro. I agree that the Wasp sucks very big dick. With Galactus, there are some combos that people are saying, like playing the wave, so you cheat him out early. That is one of the combos. There is also the combo where you Shuri a Hobgoblin, and the Hobgoblin with -16 power goes to the opponent's side, and then you Galactus that lane. That is also one of the combos. So those are the two combos that I'm excited for. The wave to cheat Galactus out early, and the Shuri Hobgoblin plus Galactus. So you give a -16 power to the opponent and you Galactus that lane and nuke them out, bro.
Up your bishop, that maybe we can make that work. Well, I don't know.
That's true, bro. The Wasp doesn't work without Patriot or Logio because she's useless. But the same goes to Yellow Jacket, right?
Let's check out this clip. All right, check it out. I was just queuing into Marvel Snap like just normal, and then you won't believe what happened next. I was literally shook to my bones. I had Yellow Jacket in the opening hand, and I had 1 energy. So I was able to play Yellow Jacket and then Nova.
This is cool. This is cool.
Insane. And there we go. That is the bottom 5.
Honorable mentions. All right. Baron Mordo sucks. Quake, of course, Quake sucks. Nick Fury sucks. And the Wasp sucks. I don't think Black Cat sucks, and I don't think Typhoid Mary sucks. They suck, but not as much as the other cards. And I will tell you, bro. I will tell you. I would prefer a Yellow Jacket above a Nick Fury every day of the week and any day of the over a Quake, bro. Those two cards fucking suck very big dick. I win because he played in this lane, and this is the real Mysterio. Turn! Oh, but I play the game. I play the fucking game. So Captain Marvel will move here. Come on, dude. Come on. Give me my cubes. Move! Why did she move? You die! Well, because I lose by point differential. That's why she didn't move. Bro, there. And I snapped him. Oh, but it didn't count. I got 2 cubes. Only 2 cubes. But yes, bro, I do agree. I do agree with some stuff here. Like the Black Bolt sucks. The Crystal sucks. And the Yellow Jacket kind of sucks. I don't know if it is the worst thing you can pull, because I believe Nick Fury is worse and Quake is worse. Those two cards fucking suck. And Baron Mordo sucks, but not as much as these two, you know. And I like Doc Ock. I don't know why Doc Ock is in this top, because these 6 cards are arguably worse than Doc Ock. And Adam Warlock is also better. So these 2 I don't agree with, but the other 3 I do agree with. But I don't know if Yellow Jacket is the worst. And I know he isn't saying that these are the worst cards in Pull 3, but the worst cards that you can pull early. But still, even in that scenario, Doc Ock and Adam Warlock aren't the worst, bro. Nick Fury is worse, and Quake is worse, and even Baron Mordo is worse, because what are you going to do with a Baron Mordo? Baron Mordo only works in the Maximus Ronan the Accuser deck. So, yes. That is what I think. But the video was cool. It gives some insight on what he thinks about what can you build with Yellow Jacket with Pull 2. But and we agree on some things and we disagree on some things. That is how life is. We can't agree on everything, you know. that is how people work. But yes, cool video. Thank you for it, Drewberry. And yes, awesome.